Wanting to open up your own holistic healing practice or business, but you might be thinking, who am I to be doing this? I'm not qualified enough. What if I make a mistake? What if people find out that I don't have much experience? Well, welcome to imposter syndrome, or feeling like a fraud. In this video, I'm going to go over the tips and strategies on overcoming imposter syndrome or feeling like a fraud. Imposter syndrome is surprisingly common, especially among high achievers and other holistic healers, or those in the healing space. People with imposter syndrome often feel like they're just winging it, and it's only a matter of time when they are exposed as being frauds. Imposter syndrome can be debilitating, hold you back from launching your business or scaling it, creating anxiety and self-doubt. But it's important to remember that everyone, and I mean everyone, feels like an imposter at some point in their career, especially as a helper or healer, because simply put, we are still very much humans. And I would not be here if I too at some point did not feel like a fraud in my career. I actually wrote a chapter in a book about it. If you want a copy of that, check out the link below to get free access. The key is to not let imposter syndrome hold you back from reaching your potential or launching your business. But how do you do that when you realize you're dealing with this in the first place? Well, first of all, if you're watching this, I'm going to assume that you have made some realization that you are dealing with this. So congrats, you actually completed step number 1. Because you can't fix something that you are unaware of. This is a normal human emotion, but really a limiting belief. And as long as you are taking action to improve things, then you're gonna be okay. So now let's get started on learning how to deal with imposter syndrome. So the first tip, talk to someone you trust about your feelings of fraudulence, even vocalizing to begin to release it. Just getting it off your chest and even hearing it can help you feel like you're not a fraud because you are being honest about how you feel. And you may be surprised to find out that others feel the same, which will help even eliminate that common misconception that you're alone or that the only one that feels like this is you. It's not true. I actually will never forget when I worked with a newly graduated therapist who was one of my clients, and they felt like a fraud because of how she felt, because she was struggling with her emotions and hadn't reached that idea of being the perfect peak of a human where she was unfazed by her emotions since she was helping other people with their emotions. She was so surprised to find out that I actually felt the same before. She looked up at me and had this huge sigh of relief, because I'm gonna fill you in on a little secret. You will never feel like you reach that peak of perfection of humanness and even feel like there's always someone else who is gonna be better than you. That's what pushes us forward to continue to grow and learn. But there really is no better or worse because you can't compare your journey with someone else. It's about being better than our older selves, who is the only person who has trekked the path that you are currently trekking. We will never really catch up to someone else because if they continue to grow in a similar direction, let's say as a health coach or maybe an entrepreneur, then you will always feel in a sense behind because maybe they got a head start in some way, kind of like I did with my newly graduated client therapist that I was working with. I was looking at some of my mentors and seeing all that they had done and been and how large their audience was, how many books they wrote, and etc., etc. And I felt like I would not be there or could ever even catch up. I felt like I was not capable of helping people because of this, which is so unbelievably wrong. Even though I had plenty of training, I still felt like maybe I needed another degree or certification, which blows my mind at this point. The reality is you won't ever catch up to some people because that is their journey, it's not yours. You will not be able to help everyone. But if you could go back in time and help your younger self, maybe just 2 or even 5 years ago, then you have the ability to help many people out there. I want you to think about that. Really do, because your ideal client will align with you. What better client would there be than your slightly younger self? Typically, that is a very common target audience for most to start with. We're constantly improving and getting better, and no one starts in the same place. So even when I first opened, I don't think I could be confident enough to be speaking here right now to you all and talk about being a holistic healpreneur. But I do wish I could go back in time and hire my future self just to help me then in learning the things that I know now. So the people that I helped in the early stages of my business were those that I knew I could help because they were like me just a few years ago. So how is that fake or fraudulent? if I'm authentically me. I'm honest with what I know, don't know, and what I have done. You'll be surprised how refreshing that is. As a holistic healpreneur, you have to remember that we are in business with other humans, and you're not expected to be anything other than a human with your own unique talents, approaches, and experiences that is unique to you, thus making your ideal client unique. If you simply know something now that could have helped your younger self be better then know that who you once were is definitely out there, which means you can help many others out there. There's always someone, in a sense, behind us, just like there's always someone in front of us. So know that there will be someone that will align with you. You just need to be a few steps ahead and continue to move ahead so you can help those behind you. So as I grow, my clients grow with me. It really is never ending in the healing space. You continue to study, to learn, and to grow in what you do, and the path continues to unfold. Second tip. Make a list of what you're good at or what comes naturally to you. Be honest about what doesn't, because we can't be masters of it all, but we do all innately have our own personal talents that come a bit easier for us. You know, those talents are things that are usually what others may point out and see very easily, but may be less clear for you because it's so natural for you that you don't even give it much thought. If friends, family, or even a partner ever complimented you on characteristics or things that you do, take a note of it. You could even ask to get some insight as to what seems easy for you or you're good at. Be sure to write this down and come back to it. We build our business around strength so that we can propel it. And our strengths are there for a reason. So when imposter syndrome creeps up and there's this deep feeling as though you are not being real, genuine, or a fraud, come back to those strengths that you wrote down and your innate talents to build confidence in understanding what makes you unique and authentic. Being aware of our strengths and honest about our weaknesses are what makes us very human and also quite relatable to others. People want to work with people that are relatable and have similarities that they feel a connection with, because seeing you or me as a human makes it realistic that those people or your clients and patients too can heal and reach their goals. It makes it obtainable, and it makes clients very coachable too. I believe that when we have such a high standard or even place someone on a pedestal, in a sense, even hide every mistake or not acknowledge that we can too feel badly, it makes the distance of being able to achieve or be inspired by that person too ever so distant for everyone else that may be looking at that person. So make a list of your strengths, talents, or achievements, no matter how small or insignificant they may seem to you right now. Be sure to still jot it down to boost your confidence and to build a business around those things. Third tip, research a mentor that is big now and that you would aspire to be. I'll give you a little hint, but mine was Tony Robbins, because you can imagine that I kept chasing degrees because I felt like I was not good enough. So I went to med school, but it wasn't another degree or paper that I needed on the wall. It was my confidence and believing in me. And for me, Tony Robbins represented all of that, as he is a self-made, no college degree. He was simply mentored by other coaches and now is a massive influencer. Back then, I kept remembering where he started at 17 and just thinking when my journey started and realizing that I just needed to keep moving forward no matter how big my audience was and how many people I'm influencing. Remember, everyone feels like an imposter sometimes. You're not alone. With some self-awareness and effort, you can overcome ever feeling like that and reach your full potential by taking a step forward and pushing through some of the uncomfortableness, which is there to help you grow. Know that as a helping professional, there's always someone out there that you can help. We get disillusioned by what other people are doing. I know for me, it was looking at other people and thinking that they had everything together, when in reality, we all have something going on. It is usually harder to see our own selves versus other people. It's like looking at the label while we're in that jar, so you may feel worse than it truly is. Just know that in the end, you are human and you are doing the best that you can do until you know how to do it better. This is why we have coaches, mentors, and even sponsors paying it forward. We are all constantly expanding as humans with the universe, and everyone is moving out and beyond in comparison to our older selves. So in this video, I gave you 4 tips as to how to overcome feeling like a fraud when you are starting your coaching business. Please let me know in the comments if you have ever practiced any of these tips, or if you have any others to help others people maybe overcome this. And if you like this video, check out the suggested videos that YouTube thinks that you should watch in the screen shortly. And if you would like updates about new videos, be sure to subscribe. Until next time, have a great one.